age of transitions.
You're listening to the Age of Transitions. I'm your host, Aaron Franz, coming at you live this Friday night, April 26, 2024. Gosh, I always struggle with that year. Here we are. Live from the facilities of Ochelli.com every Friday night, 10 p.m. to midnight Eastern Standard Time. First hour is the Age of Transitions. Second hour is Uncle the Podcast. So thank you for listening live or podcast format, however you do so. We appreciate it. If you appreciate the Ochelli Radio Network, do consider leaving a donation at Ochelli.com to help the network out. That would be very much useful to Ochelli.com. So thank you. My website is theageoftransitions.com. Pick up the podcast there. You can support me directly. I have the Patreon page. I have shirts. I have my book, Revolve Man's Scientific Rise to Godhood, available in paperback or ebook copies. It's all about transhumanism, AI, which is quite a topic of big topic everywhere nowadays. I get into that concept. It's a different kind of book about transhumanism, converging technology, and whatnot. So I'm still very proud of that book. It's probably the best way to support the show. So thank you for continuing to buy that. I will try to do more as time goes on to, maybe more books, maybe more videos, maybe more of everything. We'll see. But that's what we have now. That's at theageoftransitions.com. As I said, live every Friday night. We're here on Ochelli.com. Thank you for sticking with me. It's been 2 weeks. It was gone for 2 weeks, but I am back now. Glad to be back. First week I was doing some traveling. That was fun. And the second week I was working, which is a lame excuse, but it's what I got. So first week was kind of a fun excuse. Second week is a lame and boring excuse. But I'm back now, and that's what matters. So I'm glad to be here. We'll have more guests coming up in the future. I'm trying to line up a few different people. We'll have them on soon. But tonight it's just me. Got to deal with me, sorry. I am in the Ochelli.com chat room, and yes, I am laughing about what's going on there. Those who are asking, you got me laughing a bit. Do enjoy the chat room, as always. So you can join that if you're listening live, as always, at Ochelli.com. And, yeah, I just thought we would start out the show here following up on some developing stories that are of interest on this show. The first one is about the military-industrial complex and how it's shifting away from the old guard aerospace companies and more toward the new kid on the block, which isn't really new, I know, but the new favored son, that would be Silicon Valley and the tech industry writ large. So here is a article that I got this from J.P. Satili's News Vandal Rundown, as I get nearly every article, almost every article I cite and read from on here. That's where I read my news mainly. And then I find other things that I find scrolling through Twitter here and there and looking around, but most of them are from there, and this one's no different. But the website this is from is nationalinterest.org, which I was reading the About section. The chairman, up until very recently when he perished, was Henry Kissinger, was the chairman of this nationalinterest.org. Now it's somebody else, but whatever. All national security sort of publication. This is the online version of it. I don't know if they have like a magazine that they publish or what. But anyway, the title of this article, this came out April 21st, so really new. Title is "The Tech Industry is the New Defense Industrial Base. Establishing early relationships between the government and the tech sector will help the latter understand how to engage the government as a customer and incentivize dual-use technology development." And honestly, I don't even know if I need to read any of this. This is just me bragging and acting. This is what I don't do enough of, because I have this show. I have a podcast, right? I have a show where supposedly I know a fair amount about a given topic. The topic is technology, generally speaking, is what the show kind of revolves around, mainly revolve. Ooh, my book. So, I don't call myself an expert on anything, but I'm a commentator on technology, transhumanism, especially the emerging technologies like AI and robotics and all of these sorts of things. And so, since I'm in this position, I got to act like I'm really smart and I can predict the future and look at how great I am. I always tell you the stuff that nobody else tells you. I got to do the typical thing. So in order to really properly do my job, I got to not only pat myself on the back, I got to act like I'm the best thing since sliced bread. So I'm going to try to do that my way. And that's what I'm doing now is, look, this article is saying what I've been saying. Cool, huh? Maybe I almost know what I'm talking about sometimes. Cool, huh? I think it's pretty good. Maybe I'm onto something, maybe not. I don't know, whatever. The tech industry is the new defense industrial base. So, Henry Kissinger's buddies seem to have a similar opinion to me, and that's not exactly something to be proud of, right? But maybe not. Depends on how you look at it. So, pretty interesting. Nascent technology areas, that's what they say. Okay, I'm going to read the first sentence because it's developments in nascent technology areas such as quantum computing, biotechnology, and artificial intelligence predominantly occur in the private sector. Okay, that's all we need to hear there. So that just tells you, some of the technologies that, again, are of interest here at the Age of Transitions. So there's that one. Boy, I'm smart. Now let's read this other development of another thing we've been following on the Age of Transitions podcast. And if you haven't been following, you need to. Gosh, you better subscribe to this so that you can get my, my precognitive abilities of what is going to happen in the near and long-term future. You can get, because I talk every week about something insane that ends up in time being less and less insane as time goes on. Usually. Sometimes it becomes more insane. But other times it's surprising how much sense it ends up making eventually. The world has to warm up to the ideas that bounce around in my quasi-schizo mind. But anyway, apnews.com. Biden administration announces $6.6 billion to ensure leading-edge microchips are built in the U.S. This is the TSMC, Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company, which we have talked about previously, based in Taiwan. Really, the major flashpoint, the potential flashpoint to what could kick off actual military conflict between our two countries, the United States and China. And of course, when we say those two, there's others involved, the different international players in that region. But definitely the potential flashpoint more than any other when we're talking about that geopolitical issue is Taiwan. And what's going on in Taiwan? Well, semiconductor industry is big there. TSMC specifically is the company that produces all of the most high-tech semiconductors for all sorts of different companies. If you have a advanced semiconductor microchip that you need in your product, if you need, you can design it. You can design in Silicon Valley. Many of them are, but then to produce it, to manufacture it, you have to go to TSMC. It has to be manufactured in their facility in Taiwan. That is the current reality. Things might change based on this article here. $6.6 billion to ensure these microchips are built in the U.S. Let's read from this article. I will read from this. Wilmington, Delaware. Love that place. So much going on there. That's not even a joke. It sounds like it is, but it's not. Okay, the Biden administration pledged on Monday to provide up to $6.6 billion so that a Taiwanese semiconductor giant can expand the facilities it is already building in Arizona and better ensure that the most advanced microchips are produced domestically for the first time. Commerce Secretary Gina Raimondo said the funding for Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company, TSMC, means the company can expand on its existing plans for 2 facilities in Phoenix and add a third newly announced production hub. These are the chips that underpin all artificial intelligence, and they are the chips that are the necessary components for the technologies that we need to underpin our economy, Raimondo said on a call with reporters, adding that they were vital to the 21st century military and national security apparatus. The funding is tied to a sweeping 2022 law that President Joe Biden has celebrated, and which is designed to revive U.S. semiconductor manufacturing, known as the CHIPS and Science Act. The $280 billion package is aimed at sharpening the U.S. edge in military technology and manufacturing while minimizing the kinds of supply disruptions that occurred in 2021 after the start of the coronavirus pandemic, when a shortage of chips stalled factory assembly lines and fueled inflation. Okay, I think that's enough. We get the idea. So TSMC, via the CHIPS Act, is building facilities in the United States. So no longer if you the concept being if this works out the way Biden and company hope it does, the idea is no longer do you have to produce these advanced semiconductors in Taiwan. You can do it here. Now, what's interesting, it's still TSMC, still the same company. So this actually raised a lot of questions, which I don't have the answers for, mainly being, okay, TSMC, let's say best case scenario, they build these facilities and they can do at least, the facility is just as good, if not better, than the facilities they have in Taiwan, right? So that you can produce all the same chips here, maybe even a little better. So it's like, okay, we're producing them here in the United States. Problem solved. We don't have to worry about Taiwan anymore. It's still the same company, though, that's based in Taiwan. That's my question. Like, okay, so let's say we just went best case scenario. Let's mix in the worst case scenario along with that and say China invades Taiwan, right? China takes Taiwan and Taiwan is now officially owned and operated by China, right? So China takes over. They go in there and now Taiwan is not independent sovereign nation whatsoever. They're just, another part of China. What happens to the TSMC plant here that we built through the CHIPS Act? Is it now beholden to China? Are we going to do like some sort of TikTok ban thing like we did? But this time the chips that we're manufacturing here, we can't use them anymore because it's a Chinese company that owns it. It's China. I mean, China is going to take control of TSMC as they do everything under their state's purview, right? Everything within the Chinese state is it's under the control of the Chinese government, right? The government and business works even more closely than they do here in our country, very much more. And so, my question is, what happens in that scenario? It's like, okay, we built this, but it's TSMC. What goes on now? Like, do we kick TSMC out because now it's a Chinese company, so you can't do business here? You do something like that, and then the facility is taken over by, I don't know, Intel or something. I don't know. That's when I read this, I just wondered about that. I'm like, no, wait a minute. But anyway, this continues to be a tenuous and confusing situation. really, as I've been saying here on the show, I feel like this is one of the core issues when it comes to those geopolitical tensions between the U.S. and China. Especially, we were talking about possible military action, looming military actions. There's all sorts of stuff going on in the South China Sea, the Indo-Pacific, whatever you want to call it, in that area. All sorts of, I mean, where to even begin to talk about that? There's so much going on there. This is going to continue, and I do believe that the technological aspect is at the heart of the conflict between our two nations, and this is perhaps at the heart of that, at least now, as technology exists in its current state. It will be interesting to see if the true transhumanist vision, where these new technologies like quantum computing and perhaps new ways of creating, maybe we don't even have microprocessors as we know them anymore. If that sort of thing starts happening, I mean, who knows? But it appears as though we're kind of, that doesn't look like it's about to happen as far as we can tell, at least any of us here on the ground. We normal folk. So, here we are having to use these graphics cards to power large language models that can, do all these wonderful things that we talk about when it comes to AI and make weird AI imagery. That's where we're at with AI at the moment. But, at any given moment, a new sort of development could pop up that changes quite a bit. But those are those two stories. Let's just move on. Those are just two stories where I get to act how cool I am and I know everything. You should listen to my show. If you listen to my show, you'd be informed on all the important stuff that nobody's going to tell you. Everybody's scared. I'm probably shadow banned. That's probably why you don't follow me, because I'm shadow banned and they don't allow the truth to get out there. But hey, here it is. Somehow you found it. I don't know. You got around the shadow. You've worked your way around in the shadows, perhaps, and found yourself here to listen to the show. So I appreciate that. Thank you, shadow weirdos. I'm glad to be hanging out with you tonight. The other godforsaken topic that I felt like I'd return to is this sort of weird, constantly evolving, always kind of the same, always kind of like going in a somewhat predictable, although definitely not predictable, but there are patterns here that we can pull out from it. What the hell am I talking about? I'm talking about the thing which has no name, the name which we shall not speak, because it doesn't even exist, first of all. But if it did, it would be diabolic. So uttering its name would bring about ruin of one way, shape, or form. Would bring about the end of me, perhaps, by mentioning the name of this unholy thing. But I don't know, the alternative fringe conspiracy realm, the area, the Trutherville, Conspiracy Town, Liberty Avenue, Patriot, just any pick the name of one of the crappier model of Jeeps, like the Liberty or the Patriot or some, one of those pieces of junk that's not a Wrangler. Any of those model of Jeeps, take that, and that's part of the name here. That's a part of the name for this group. And it's also part of the name for these super PACs that are backing the Republican nominee in this year's presidential election, which has been brought to us. I mean, if we just wake up today and look at the stories and we think about the candidates, we might be averse to the idea that there's kind of a long history that brought us to this bizarre point that we're in. And And for Mr. Donald Trump, he owes a lot to this group I'm citing, this group from which I have definitely been a part of. I don't want to believe I'm a part of it now, but I definitely have been in this mix of things for all this time, and I know a little bit about it. And I've been watching, I've been participating in the past again, now much less so than years previous, but so many things have been happening all this time. And I've always had sort of these... There's been certain trends in this area and certain developments and certain things that I've just always been like, oh boy, that have troubled me about it, but also that it's kind of one of those things where I was talking about you can kind of predict and see where everything is headed. You can and you can't, because we don't know. There's no way that we're really like future events. Good luck. We're not going to be able to like spot any specific things on the horizon. Although I think large general sort of goings on, we should be noticing. I think we should be noticing more things than what we are. And by we, I mean people such as myself. This is me speaking for myself now. As I was saying, I have been a part of this. I've been within it. I've interacted with lots of others who have. I've cared in the past about, a lot of this has to do with it's like political activism. You could say it's like a form of political activism, right? It's a form of activism, I think, is fair. What's going on, Chuck? I hear you there.
Yeah, no, I just had a quick question because I hear you say a couple of times, I've been part of this, and I'm not clear on what you mean you've been part of it. That's my one question, and I have one more. Also, by the way, quick shout out to the chat room at Ocelli.com. I see Creative Accidents. Haven't seen him on the live chat in a bit, but then again, you were off for a couple weeks. Also, Phase Shifter and everybody else in the chat room, hey. But anyway, I was curious about this. What part of this were you involved in directly? Mm-hmm. And the other thing is, I was wondering if you noticed the super PACs starting to roll out their stuff this week, because you mentioned the Trump super PAC, that has some sort of Jeep name on it, which I find funny. Yes, that's great. Liberty experience, whatever, but yeah, perfect description. I've heard no one else say that. That's great. But I was curious if you saw the most recent one, which I brought up on my call-in show and didn't get to talk about. I was almost going to see if I could find it and play it, but I can't find it to play it. It's been played at me, inserted into everything lately, where this lady's calling from what's supposed to be a Biden, campaign center. And she's calling up going, but Biden's doing so good for all the illegal immigrants. Isn't everything going great? And the guy's mad and going, I voted for Biden last time. I ain't doing it this time, lady. And the guy almost sounds like he's from a different part of Jersey than me on the phone. Anyway, but he's like, I'm voting for Trump this time. And that's one of his super PACs. It's not him doing it. He's selling his merch, doing his thing, bitching that it's too cold in the courtroom this week, all that. But I was just curious if you were inspired by that. Have you had this stuff inserted into your media recently? Is it showing up on YouTube? Is it coming up on your stream services yet? Or have you been, or are you just thinking about what's coming? And the other thing is, what is your direct involvement in this? I mean, I know you've been an activist as far as information and keeping a check sort of on tech things and all that. But politically, what is this thing you keep saying you were involved in directly? And the other thing about the commercials, if you wouldn't mind, if you could expound upon both of these things, please.
Sure. Well, those commercials don't ring a bell. I don't think I've seen those. Sound interesting. And yes, this thing I'm trying to articulate, as always, is difficult. It's difficult to point the finger at any one area because that's not what this is. But at the same time, there is this overarching unity nonetheless. I have been involved for a long time now. I mean, years ago when I was living in Ohio still, I moved out to California in 2008, but when I was living in Columbus, Ohio, I was part of the Columbus 9/11 Truth Group. That's like a prime example of what I'm talking about. If you're like active in one of these groups, which I was, I mean, we put together events. We went on the streets handing out literature and DVDs and things like that. So that was like a political activist sort of thing. It felt like to me. I don't know if exactly it fits the description, but, you know, that's what I was doing. I was a part of that, so I was deeply involved in that.
Yeah, but it wasn't about a candidate or an office or anything. You were doing events and get-togethers, right? Or were you involved in politicians?
I also got involved in the Ron Paul 2008 campaign.
Ah, there we go. There's the connective tissue. Okay, sorry.
There's that, which very much I moved from the 9/11 truth realm right into the Ron Paul campaigning, which was done. It was set up that way by those encouraging all of this behavior. Mm-hmm. Kind of, I feel like I was one of thousands of people that was funneled in the same sort of way. It's like, okay, you're interested in 9/11 truth and these other things. Well, then you should help Ron Paul campaign because, you know, that makes sense about this sort of thing.
Well, see, but that was logical because you're pushed back against the system, seeking the truth because the system is lying to us, basically. No matter what point of view you were going at it. I mean, I went as far as to have pizza parties and, you know, put videos on the biggest screen that I had in my house at the time, right? And invite people over. Come on over to my house and watch, you know, Loose Change, right? Stuff like that. And maybe you did stuff like that too, plus handing out DVDs. We've talked about that. But then it sort of logically progressed into Ron Paul. There was a bunch of people like that. I feel you there. I get it there. But once Ron Paul was removed from contention, did you go back into it any? Did you continue on with it?
No, I would say Ron Paul 2008 and 2012. I was enthused for both of those.
Right.
But then, as that waned, I started not only losing my political interest in this sort of thing, and I think practically I started realizing, like, you know, even if Ron Paul had been elected, that probably would not have worked. It certainly wouldn't have worked out as we wished it would have. And beyond that, anything going forward is going to be worse because things were changing. You know, the Tea Party concept clearly was being glommed onto by the more mainstream elements of the Republican Party.
Yeah, that was
and you could see them jumping in and making that their own. At the same time, the alternative fringe areas, which sort of built this thing up, were sort of, I mean, you could tell that they were overjoyed that they finally broke into the mainstream to have influence, to be able to actually influence political actions, which I suppose was, you know, the idea all along, right? So it worked out for those who were doing that.
Right.
You know what I mean? But the question there is, and the question that more and more popped into my head is like, well, what is the interest there?
Well, see, the last thing I put to you is this, Aaron, and then I want to shut up and go away. I'm sorry. I felt it necessary to get you to clarify these things really quickly, and I'm glad you did, because now it makes a lot more sense to me. But what's remarkable here is that the shattered remnants of the Ron Paul situation, and clearly what I felt like was the completely undermined and intentionally really, you want to talk about controlled demolition? 9/11 Truth Movement suffered controlled demolition, okay? In my estimation, and it was done very much, I suspect, like the Cass-Sunstein model was suggested, where infiltration and repurposing people and controlling the opposition was done by subversion. All right. And I think the same thing happened with Ron Paul, where once they, kneecapped that, and we saw it again with Bernie Sanders, I believe, where there was a grassroots, legitimate enthusiasm. I mean, clearly it's a different set of people, But again, a legitimate enthusiasm for an outsider answer that was derailed intentionally. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But after that, I think some of the swept up remnants of that stuff was all just sort of gathered up like with a dustbuster called the Trump train. Mm-hmm. And they gathered up whatever they could from the subversive, the outlier, the unaccepted, we're not invited into the regular tent, but we want to challenge the system, into here's a guy who's going to say and do the things that are not acceptable, and therefore he's challenging the system there. Mm-hmm. You obviously didn't get swept up with that dustbuster, so is there a point at which you sort of abandoned this and now you're wondering where that leaves you? I mean, seriously, that's a question I'm wondering about. And then I'll shut up. I'll be done now. I'm not going to ask anything else. And I'm sorry. I know you're not taking calls or anything, but you always say jump in when I want to. And I haven't in many weeks, but I wanted to add to this and see and clarify what you were saying, because I think it's very important and part of the story you're telling. So thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you, Chuck. You're helping me, again, articulate what is difficult to articulate much better, because so much of this is quite nebulous. But it's difficult for me to pinpoint any sort of exact spot. But actually, when I think about it, because it's a pretty interesting image, and I think that's what makes it stick out in my mind. Like the sort of point for me where I guess you could say that's enough of this. Like, I'm throwing a bunch of this stuff behind me and I'm moving forward. I don't know exactly how I'm moving forward, but I got to move forward from this. The moment like that for me was Alex Jones going on his show dressed up as the was it the Heath Ledger Joker? He was dressed up as the Joker with the face paint. He's like running around Austin acting like an absolute fool. And then he got on his show and he was hosting his show with the Joker face paint. And he was in character the whole time. It was just like that was like so bizarre. I'm having trouble even explaining that. But when that happened, I'm like, oh my God, this, like, it just, any sort of semblance of whatever illusion that he was anything more than this guy that's just trying to get attention was just thrown out the window at that point. It's like, what is this guy doing? You know? And I understand acting silly and acting crazy and doing it on camera, but the way that he does it, like, he'll do that. It'd be one thing if he like acted like an idiot or even did like, dressed up like the Joker, did his performance art, as his lawyers say, that's fine. But as long as he didn't do that and then say, I'm saving the country, like, yeah, listen to me because, if you elect who I tell you to elect, and if you do what I tell you to do, the country will be free and not enslaved anymore. Like, he does that. He acts like an absolute numbskull and he acts like a deranged maniac. Fine. I can get into that if it is only performance art and it's not claiming to be like this vehicle for saving our republic as we know it. But that's how it's sold. That's the package. That's the marketing, which is all it is. It's not cynical to say that. It's the truth. Like, but it's become much more is the problem. Like, it's a big problem. And it's more than just Alex Jones, but Alex Jones is a big part of it. I think we should remember that Stop the Steal rally on January 6, 2021, who put up the money, who put up $500,000 for that thing? It was Alex Jones put up that money for that rally that day, for what that's worth. Again, that's a contentious issue anyway, but it all feeds in together. And I think the main point that I kind of wanted to drive home was that this whole time, and the more and more I feel the need to distance myself from this, one of the main reasons is I can kind of see where this is going. It's going in different directions. I don't like any single one of them. And here we get into the difficulty of like analyzing and we're not predicting the future, but things to be careful of going forward, since so many people are swept up in this now. Now, as I left this party, I could also tell that there are more and more joining the fold, right? Because this is going mainstream. So you get this push and pull thing going on where these candidates being put forward by these fringe political radio shows from Truthland, they're getting more and more votes. They're getting more and more pull to the point where Trump was the one who basically rode the wave of Ron Paul's gone, the Tea Party's here, anti-establishment, true conservative, patriot, whatever we're calling that. Trump was put in that place. And a lot of people with that interest, a lot of people with that special interest, that's the way that they, it's their political action, right? Because this is the political side of it. He actually got elected. So, I mean, that's what kind of litmus test is that? Is that these anti-establishment political campaigns not only kind of like make a dent in things like with Ron Paul, like he got on the national debates, he said some interesting things, but then they shot him down and kicked him out because he couldn't be elected. That's a far cry from Trump getting up there, acting like a crazy nut, doing a stand-up comedy bit, roasting his fellow candidates, getting mocked by the other side and treated like there's no way he can win. And I think they legitimately thought that. And then he ends up winning. So there's that dual. Clearly, you've got enough bodies interested in these general, because everything's very generalized. It's like, what's wrong with the country? It's going to hell in a handbasket. It's we've lost our values. Just name some sort of generic concept, and that's how you operate. Run for election. You just throw out weird little like general concepts and get people to think like that, just so they'll elect you. But it's crazy that there's that many people to actually elect a president. So that tells you, like, just numbers wise, what's going on here is that this whole political movement has built up to this point where, it's the mainstream Republican Party is the MAGA party now. And even there, there's infighting within the party and there's all sorts of weird stuff going on there. Yes. But I mean, coming into this presidential election, it's definitely like, MAGA. And I don't know. I still don't think people give just that, the fact that this has occurred over so many years, that it's actually come to this point. I think people still take that for granted, and they don't understand. People on all sides of this, by the way, whether you're for it, against it, whatever, you're part of it, you're not, you know nothing about it, you know everything about it, you think you know everything about it. Nobody does, right? And I think we're going to be surprised by quite a bit coming up, most of us. But as I'm trying to make the point, and I'm probably not, is that for a long time now, I've just had these suspicions, lots of bad suspicions about this whole thing. In that I've brought up the concept of, truthers. I know you hate this, Chuck, but I'm going to say it again. The truthers would always wear black. And yes, I mostly wear black stuff myself. I love black, all right? But when a group of people go out in public angrily making a point to state outsider political concepts in a very aggressive manner, and they're all wearing black, that has like an intimidating That's an intimidating visual presentation. That was done in the truth movement years ago when I was part of it. That was like an aesthetic that was used as part of, a lot of public actions, right? It wasn't a bunch of group of hippies wearing, like colorful clothing. No, they're wearing all black that say some sort of thing like 9/11 is an inside job or something that's very abrasive to the average person. And going out there and like yelling and being like, hey, or the confrontation videos, let's go up to Alan Greenspan and ask him about World Trade Center Building 7 for some reason, because, he has something to do with that. Or let's talk to Newt Gingrich about World Trade Center Building 7, because, there's nothing else we could ask him about. Not like we could ask him about the age of transitions. Why would we do that? We don't know what that is. We know what World Trade Center Building 7 is. We're going to go to some lecture he's giving and then yell at him about that. That was all very I just feel like there's always been this adversarial sort of mystique to this whole thing, which I don't necessarily dislike. And that, if I'm being honest, that might be part of what I like to get me into it in the first place, because I kind of enjoy being contrarian at the least when it comes to status quo sort of things and challenging that. I can get into that. There's definitely an innocent side to that and a healthful side to that. There's a good side to those things, but I think there's also a way to exploit that same thing. And if you're talking merely visually, which is almost everything when it comes to public perception, like what is the visual, what is the general takeaway? What kind of characters are we crafting for our narratives? We're talking about like propaganda and things like this. What is the narrative we're crafting when it comes to truthers? Are truthers seen as the good guys? No. Have they been portrayed as sort of enemy combatants, right? Something like that. I would say yes for a long time, but I think that line that this narrative has been weaving and following the tide that is this very real MAGA movement that's come to dominate the mainstream Republican Party. So we're talking about something that went from a fringe sort of very counterculture, small sort of movement, relatively speaking, to something that is the size of one of the two major political parties in the United States. And again, that's kind of a generic way of putting it, but I think it's accurate. I think it's fairly accurate. Again, a candidate was elected in 2016, and we've had all of this fun things that we've had to deal with ever since then up to now. Coming into this election, the same guys coming in here that definitely could win. And so we've got a continuing situation, which, as I was also saying before, I don't think anybody really has a good hold on this. The potentials for where this could go. A lot of people have explicitly said a lot of things that I think are accurate, but at the same time, there's a lot of nuance that's being lost. And frankly, I think a lot of people that have not been involved in any of this are at a disadvantage if they can't understand the motivations of the people of, the typical Trump voter, let's say. And on the other side of the issue, the typical Trump voter, I think, is just falling victim to the same old political chicanery as always, of that they're believing in this candidate that's telling them something that is at best a half truth, at worst, it's just, excuse to get them to play the pawns in this wider game for the advantage of those that are being elected to office to take advantage of that office. They will definitely exploit those that put them there. And so, the concept of, I always found it interesting, the 9/11 truth movement, so much of it centered around the war on terror, obviously, and the ramifications of the post 9/11 world, and how that was really the problem. There was, hey, look, we don't live in the country we used to, where we're losing all these civil liberties. The average person can be marginalized in new and horrifying ways because of all this legislation that's passing in the name of protecting us from terror, right? I thought that was one of the main points of the 9/11 truth movement. And early on it was, but things changed over time. It was really amazing to see some of the 180s that occurred in the alternative narrative. The Alex Jones narrative, man, that thing bounces all over the place as it needs to on a second by second basis. Same way that Trump does business. He just stuff comes out of his mouth that at the moment seems like the right thing to say. It can completely contradict the thing he says 30 seconds later. It doesn't matter. It does not matter, because it doesn't making any kind of coherent sense and having an actual sort of ethical, any sort of ethos or ethical guidelines or a mission goal to elevate the lives of the downtrodden and to hold accountable those who have gotten away with so many atrocities, those who have been in a position of power, who should be held accountable, who never have been. These were all the ideas that I thought were important. And as time goes on, I can tell that they're not. Plenty of lip service being paid to the idea that generally, this is the idea. We're going into drain the swamp was the idea in 2016 with the MAGA idea. And the deep state, oh God, the deep state, going after them. So once again, these nebulous concepts that can mean all sorts of things don't really mean anything. Any sort of grasp we might have had at any point on understanding what a deep state is, or who might be a problem, somebody who may have been in power here, there, or anywhere over the years that has gotten away with so much. Maybe we should finally think about pointing that out and holding accountable in some way, shape, or form. That's not happening. Instead, what the energies have been moved toward is these various political actions in order to get certain individuals and groups into power. And that has been the goal. And yeah, now it's Donald Trump once again. He's the guy to get in there. He's got all the backing, lots of money. He's got the Republican Party in his pocket from when it seems. And meanwhile, there's still he is still playing that important role, which has always been important in this thing, which I found fascinating the first time around when he got elected. I thought it would be better for Donald Trump and for Alex Jones had Donald Trump actually lost the first time around, because it maintained that all important aspect of their character, which is they are the one being suppressed, oppressed, blocked out, not allowed to be put into power because the powers that be won't allow them to be put into power because they aren't the chosen ones. They are not a part of the establishment. They are outside of the establishment. So I always thought back then, it's like, oh yeah, it would make a lot of sense if Trump, makes all this hoopla. He's the anti-establishment guy. He's got this big backing of the Alex Jones crowd and all this now. He could really parlay this into something and keep going with this once he loses. And it made sense that would actually fit into him and Alex Jones' marketing had he lost. But he didn't. And it seemed like he was planning on losing the first time around, and he was ready to go that direction I was talking about. Like, okay, yeah, I built up this brand. This is part of the Trump brand now. I could be like the outsider guy that would be able to save everybody, but he's always getting pushed to the side. No, that's not what happened. He became president of the United States. So then at that point, a big narrative shift has to occur. And it did. And that's part of what's so weird about this entire thing, is that Alex Jones and company had to shift to being the Republican establishment. And so that being said, there definitely is that outsider sort of thing still going on, because clearly we can see sharp divides. I don't think, not to play into what they're saying, but there's definitely part of this is causing all kinds of instability is what's happening. And it was a shakeup. I don't think anybody really saw this coming. But now we're all sides of this are just having to deal with this and make things up as we go along. The MAGA crowd is happy to continue to play the victim, for one thing. They love playing the victim. That's what Trump does every second they get. He's using these court cases very much to build his brand there. So he's kind of going with that thing that I was talking about, like had he lost, but he's doing it in the context of he was the president. He's able to regain that with the whole stolen election narrative he rolled with. Like, yeah, they stole the election from me. See, told you I was an outsider and they're trying to stop me. They stole it from me. Yeah, that's what happened. Yeah, they stole it from you. What happened the first time when you won? How does that fit the narrative exactly? That time that you won, but anyway, that doesn't have to make sense. Nothing needs to. It truly doesn't. But there's more rabble rousing, get people all up in arms in the literal sense, buying guns because they're worried about a civil war. They're not worried about it so much as that they hope it happens. They would love it if it happens. Why? Again, I don't know. I don't know why these people think anything they do. Yeah, civil war. What a fun concept. It sounds like it just brings joy to my heart when I think about it. What kind of and people out there may think I'm being unfair and ascribing so many things to, large swaths of people that they don't necessarily that they're not in line for. But once again, I'm looking at these weird, large sort of movements going on and trying to make sense of it. And very much the MAGA crowd is happy to play the bad guy moving forward. It will be interesting to see what happens with that. Either Trump will come to power and he'll assume control in a way that has never been seen before. Project 2025 will do its thing and pick up and put all of his people where they need to be so that he can get away with whatever he wants. And his MAGA crowd will be the willing foot soldiers on the ground to throw everybody that doesn't agree with him in forced labor camps. Sounds like hyperbole, but I think that literally could happen. I know people think I'm a fool for believing that, but that's just one scenario. He could also lose again, and of course that means he'll say it was stolen again. If that happens, then they get to continue on with their preferred role of being the enemy of the state and say, we're going to fight for justice no matter what, and it's not going to be good. And then the deep state will call them terrorists, and it'll probably be true because God knows what everybody will be doing in the name of taking the country back for the rightful leader, which lost the election again. And I think that, this realm which I was involved in and which is nebulous, and there are smaller subsects, but now it has morphed into a large political movement that has elected a president. And as such, it's really become something new. And I do think that they can continue wearing the black. They can continue being the bad guy. This is in the scenario where Trump loses. Continue wearing black, continue being the bad guy, be the terrorist, be happy about it. And the nation domestically would be destabilized to an entirely new extent. And you can imagine what might happen from there. And I don't know. I don't want any of this to happen. But it just feels like we've been pushed, and so many are happy to go in the direction that has been prescribed to them. They were happy to cast a vote for Donald Trump and believe that it was, as advertised. I don't know how you possibly could, but it worked. So just that mere reality, I think, speaks. It does more than speak. I can't even put into words what that even means. As you can see, I've been stumbling here the whole show to even try to make the point I'm trying to make. I think you get it. I just, one of the main things I'm trying to put out there now is don't sign up for any of this. Don't be a part of any of this stuff. It's not going anywhere good. And I just want to put that out there. This is not a good thing. And I don't know if any of this, if anything even close to what I'm saying will happen. It might work out to be far more boring than what I'm saying. And I hope that it does. I really hope that it does. And it very well could. I mean, either Trump or Biden or RFK Jr. or somebody might win and make a bunch of stupid decisions when they get in office that they're not going to end the world, but of course it would be better if they win another way, but of course they won't. And then we'll just kind of stumble down the road to inevitable financial collapse at some point, and then we'll deal with things from there. So we're going to be okay. All right, that's all I'm going to say. Just don't fall for anything idiotic. That would be my main point of advice. I know it's probably too late for most of us, but I'm just saying it's an idea. Not a very popular idea, but it's an idea nonetheless. So there you go. That was the Age of Transitions for tonight. Please stay on the Ocelli Radio Network. If you're listening live, we've got Uncle the Podcast coming right up. It'll be a lot of fun. Again, back from the 2-week hiatus, so keep listening there. My name is Aaron Franz. My website is theageoftransitions.com.
The Age of Transitions.
holocaust. You know what uranium is, right? This thing called nuclear weapons and other things, like lots of, you know what uranium is, right? Bad things. Things are done with uranium, including some bad things. Nuclear holocaust. You know what uranium is, right? I've been briefed. Nuclear holocaust. Nuclear holocaust. You know what uranium is, right? This thing called nuclear weapons and other things, like lots of, you know what uranium is, right? Bad things. Things are done with uranium, including some bad things.
The views expressed by callers, co-hosts, or anyone else who happens to get on the air at Ocelli.com do not necessarily reflect the views of Ocelli.com or Chuck Ocelli, and we are not responsible for any stupidity which might ensue. Thank you.
The War State by Michael Swanson explains the great national transformation that took place and put the Kennedy presidency in the context of the times and reveals never before published information about the Cuban Missile Crisis. President Kennedy would not have been assassinated if he had been president 200 years ago. His assassination took place in the context of the Cold War and the rise of the national security state. Before World War II, the United States was a continental republic. In the decade that followed, it became an imperial superpower. Generals such as Curtis LeMay not only wanted to invade Cuba, but knew that there were short-range missiles on the island armed with nuclear warheads that they could not destroy because they were on mobile launchers. Their invasion could have led to a third world war, and they wanted to go to war anyway. The War State by Michael Swanson reveals why and will show you what President Kennedy was up against. For more information, thewarstate.com.
This is a Mercy Broadcast. Code Red, here we are. Pick up your iPads, your cell phones, and have me and listen to Uncle the Podcast. Watch out. If you're sitting down for this, or if you're standing up, you better get ready for this, because it's gonna hit the eardrums. Uncle the Podcast.
You are listening to Uncle the Broadcast. My name is Aaron. I'm the nephew-in-law. Here with me is the star of the show, Uncle.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Don't let me know what dang number this is. I don't know.
It's 3:30, Uncle.
3:30, he says. Sidekick says 3:30. There's a 3:30 program.
That's right. 3:30.
Okay, now, I got a special thing tonight. Couldn't pack that package over here, please? I want to get to this. I've been waiting for this package. We've got this crazy shrimp thing in here, and I've been wondering, who is that shrimp nut that don't have a thing in the desert? Well, who sent it? We're going to find out tonight.
Who sent shrimp? That's what we're going to find out on Uncle the Podcast number 330.
Yeah.
As always, we're live from the facilities of Ocelli.com on a Friday night. Glad to be here.
I had to open with that.
Yeah, we got a.
It's a danger zone in the back.
Interesting
fire
piece.
Fire zone.
Interesting piece of mail. This got a return address. Says Big Gerald Sanders, all you can eat barbecue and shrimp, and the address is 57420 Touchstone Road, Landers, California. That's who sent this to us.
I don't believe that until I didn't see that damn restaurant there. And this is what's getting me all week. When I got this in the mail, I told him, boy, am I ready for something to talk about.
Maybe the horse sent us this, Uncle. The horse that lives at this address. Because we know there's a horse there. We saw that. Yeah, there's horses there. But yeah, this is a piece of art. Truly a piece of art.
Yes, and look who it is on the front page.
The Swizzler.
No, the singer.
Yeah. T. Sweezy, Taylor Swift.
Taylor Swift
is right on there.
We're gonna hold that package. Don't want to rip it. So
we don't. Yeah, it'll be a shame almost to open this, which we haven't yet, because it's such a unique piece of art. It looks a lot like the envelopes that we get from. Dare I say creative accidents? It looks like something he might have made, but this came from Big Gerald Sanders, it says. So, I mean, I don't know.
I'd like to understand this guy. I had to open it up with that.
Do you want to open this piece of mail, Uncle?
Yeah, let's see what the heck it is.
Okay, so we'll open it. And before we do, let's just remind everybody, again, we're live at Ochelli.com. You can join the chat there. We're also live on our video streaming platforms, YouTube, Twitch, Kick, Trovo, and Twitter/X. So thank you if you're watching there. We were gone for 2 weeks, so our apologies, but we're back. We're doing the live show again. We'll try not to be away at least 2 weeks in a row like that.
Of course.
Who's this?
That was a voice.
Who's that talking?
Uncle, you don't hear voices as the day goes by? This is the sort of thing that happens to me all the time. You don't hear just voices talking to you as you go about your daily business?
Just turn it on at the one thing.
Oh. Well, more of the same for me. It's something different for Uncle. Okay, there's Creative Accidents in the chat. He's over at Twitch, and he's just leaving a bunch of – are those shrimps? Yeah, he's leaving shrimps in the chat there.
You gonna tell me, Crazy Accident, this is from you? Well, that sounds like it.
I don't know if he said that in so many words. He's just,
but it sounds like it.
Well, we have our suspicions, don't we? This envelope.
This does not say bunny trip. Just a moment. This does not say what you said on the beginning of this thing.
Well, what does it say?
Him. It's not from him.
Well, who's it from? Yeah, it's from Big Gerald Sanders.
Gotta be fate.
Because we know that Big Gerald Sanders is an absolute fraud. We know that much.
Yeah, that's about what we know.
We uncovered that already on the show.
Yeah.
We went there. We did a full investigation.
Investigated this man.
We did.
And here we got a shrimp bag right in front of us.
But I'm going to go.
I don't know it is.
Hurry up, shrimp. Hurry up, shrimp. Hurry up, hurry up, hurry up, shrimp.
Okay, somebody wants us to open this. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to use my special letter opening device here. Get a start on this.
Just put on the edge and just.
Yeah, I'm going to try to kind of preserve this artwork if I can.
Yeah.
It's a true work of art. There we go. Get this. There.
Somebody knows this address.
Okay, so I've got it cut. Let's see what's actually in here. See what Taylor Swift has for us. Oh, it looks like a letter and another thing that says fragile.
Oh,
so there's something that we should be careful not to break. There's a letter that says Uncle. Should we read the letter first?
Yeah, let's read the letter. I was going to the letter to the thing.
Okay, so, dang, this is kind of sealed in and of its own. This little letter here, you can see it looks like this. It says Uncle. I'm going to open this guy up. There's that. Let's see. P.S. Oh, wait, here's the front. Oh, yeah, look at this. Uncle, come enjoy some delicious all-you-can-eat shrimp and barbecue at our beautiful restaurant in the desert. Big Gerald Sanders.
I can't believe this.
So it is real.
I don't believe this thing back.
Well, I mean, there it is.
Well, I mean, this is where is the restaurant?
Shrimp, hurry up, shrimp. Hurry up, hurry up, hurry up, shrimp.
Yeah, I know. Hurry up, shrimp.
P.S. Enjoy the hat and please stop your shrimp boycott. So I guess this is a hat here where it says, see, this says fragile. Let me cut through that. Apparently the mystique has been undone by that because it must be a hat. I'm not going to bother. Oh, look at this. Oh, my gosh, Uncle. Oh, you got to wear this thing.
Oh, no.
Look at this. Put this on, Uncle.
Oh, no.
Here we go. Okay, let me switch the camera over to you immediately.
Bring this over here, please.
Okay, you're on. Let's see this hat.
Look at this. Now we talking shrimp.
If you have to, take off the headphones, but you might be able to put it over. I don't know.
I know. Hold on a second, people.
See if it fits over. It might. I don't know.
It will, bro.
But here we go. Oh, boy, look at that. It's a sun hat.
Well.
And it says Big Gerald Sanders. It has shrimp all over it. This is kind of your style, Uncle.
Now, I'd like to know something. He gave us clothes with a shrimp on it.
Uh-huh.
I would like to know where he was located at. Not in the desert, please. Where was he located?
Hurry up, shrimp. Hurry up, hurry up, hurry up, shrimp.
He's located 57430 Touchstone Road, Landers, 92285.
Where the heck is that?
Well, you know where that is. It's behind Giant Rock or behind Spy Mountain out there.
We got to find the house now. I'm going to search the house.
We're going in the house? Are you talking about?
Well, I have to see this man to see where he's got his restaurant.
I wonder what would have happened if this actually got returned to that address and they got it there. What would they have liked the hat, you think? Would Big Gerald have liked to get the hat back, I should say? Let's see what's going on in the O'Chelly chat, because I get a feeling it's something.
Chat, what are you talking about, chat rooms?
We got to search the house. Okay, yeah, not a whole lot going on over there, but we're enjoying this. Uncle, that's an awesome hat. Thank you, Big Gerald Sanders.
Thank you. Anyway.
For sending that. That thing is amazing, and I hope Uncle wears that regularly. You think you'll be wearing this, Uncle?
Yeah. Probably tomorrow when I walk the dogs.
It's pretty awesome. It says Big Gerald Sanders on it. We got to get an Instagram photo, Uncle.
We'll get the Instagram going here. I've been doing these crazy things, but I never had my producer next to me with the camera. Or Mrs. Sidekick. Doing it. They're slacking.
Side woman kick.
Yeah, they're slacking, people.
Might be. But let's see here. Yeah, we got a lot going on. Let me see what's happening on our live stream channels. Not a whole lot. Well, there's some people. We got some people on YouTube. We got some people on Twitch. Doesn't look like a lot going on Twitter now, but I do find that people will replay those videos. So people are going to watch this, Uncle, and they're going to see this hat, which deserves to be seen. There's no doubt about it.
Well, yes, it's something to be seen. I understand that. But what gets me is I was ready for a delicious meal.
Oh, when we went out to Touchstone Road.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I would have eaten there. If that was a restaurant, you better believe I would have paid for dinner there.
Yeah.
I wanted that.
Well, I would have gone. But I would like to really understand this man. Where is his restaurant? That's the question I want to ask him.
Oh, the question now is if Big Gerald Sanders all-you-can-eat shrimp and barbecue buffet is not in Landers, not on Touchstone Road, where is it? Because we saw the photos of it.
Yeah, we did.
It was on Google Maps. We saw that Spider-Man in the dining room. So clearly, it's somewhere. We saw those pictures of LBJ eating outdoors in a very green area, which did not look like the desert at all. But nonetheless, he was outside eating something. Doesn't that mean something?
It does mean something. That the point is, I would enjoy having a plate of a shrimp. I mean, wouldn't you?
Well, remember, Uncle, when we went there, and then shortly after we went home and we made our own like Cajun shrimp boil thing, like the restaurants, and actually that was very good.
Yeah, we did that.
That was real good. I felt like it was probably better than even what Gerald Sanders might be able to make if he were around. It definitely, I enjoyed it. Let's get the desert imagery up. Here we go. Here's our wonderful Uncle the Podcast desert imagery provided by our good friend Robin. Thank you so much for these graphics. We do enjoy them. Let me see. Where is this? I want to. So the Uncle, I was out in Landers today, actually.
Oh yeah, how's it doing out there?
It's doing good out there. It was very windy. It was a windy day out in the desert.
Yeah.
My goodness, that was rough. Well, here's the other one. Let's see here. Very windy in the desert. My goodness, but it was nice.
Been sitting out there with me.
Oh, you know what I did see today, Uncle, in Yucca Valley was a Cybertruck.
Cybertruck?
I saw one parked in front of Tractor Supply, not far from the 99-cent store, but the driver did walk into Tractor Supply, the Cybertruck driver.
Oh, I meant to tell you, Joseph gave me his new number.
Okay.
And he's selling his tractors.
Oh, the toy tractors?
Yeah.
He's selling his collection?
Yeah.
Okay.
Starting to.
See what, selling them on eBay or something like that?
I don't know. But now I got his number, I can call him. But
are those valuable, do you know?
It could be, yeah. Well, I'm getting a couple of years down the road. Could be. Boy, he's a tractor collector.
Tractor collector, yeah. So many tractors out there.
Press that button, people.
Press the button. Everybody press the button. This is our YouTube button. Press it there so you follow all of our new videos. And actually, every version of the podcast, every new episode of the podcast streams on YouTube, and you can watch the stream. But there's also the audio version of it that pops up later, too. We have Twitter. We have Twitter X. We have Instagram. Where's the Instagram button? Instagram, we're at Uncle Podcast on all those things. So for goodness sake, press a button. It's not hard. Downright easy to press a button to follow at Uncle Podcast. So you can see pictures of Uncle wearing a shrimp hat. Who doesn't need that in their life?
These are good, delicious shrimp hats. I gotta admit, that is a good design.
Yeah.
Somebody had to make this design.
It had to be done.
It had to be from someone.
There's no way around it. This was going to happen one way or the other.
I get into a shrimp problem, and what wound up coming out with a hat out of deal.
Mm-hmm.
Who thought that was coming?
I would not have predicted that.
Maybe a meal.
Maybe. Yes, but as I was saying before, we were gone for 2 weeks. We were not doing the show for 2 weeks, and my apologies for that. I do feel kind of bad about that. It's just the way it worked out.
Could we do a situation, a straight-on week now from here on out?
Oh, yeah.
A while, instead of having a 2 week off.
Yeah, no, I didn't want to be off either one of those weeks. It just kind of happened that I couldn't make it, and I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. I mean, there could always be some sort of surprise thing. I was like, the schedule changed, but we're going to try to avoid that at all costs and just be here every Friday night.
I got to catch up if he hasn't catch up with me yet.
Oh, you're talking about Bob now.
Bob boy.
The drinker. Yeah, Bob Boy.
Because I know he's trying to catch me, but I like to keep ahead of him.
He is trying. Our friend Bumwide Bob, he will be back on the show. We'll have him back on the show soon, I'm sure.
He's got a couple new drinks out. We still got to go searching for.
Always something new.
Yeah, he does. I looked on his Instagram. He didn't seem to have. He had something he was drinking.
Mm-hmm.
I know we had the one red one we had, but there was something else.
Oh, yeah. The last time we did the grape, it was called red grape wine, wasn't it? That spiked one, yeah.
Spiked one.
So we had that, but there's always something new coming down the pipeline.
And he's got something behind the line that hasn't got in touch with you, Sidekick, to tell him to go get it?
No, not recently. But again, we have been in touch pretty well, and he'll be back soon, and he's going to be more of a regular guest. And we will have other guests. I'm trying to line up other guests. I'm doing pretty good on that front. The 2 week thing kind of threw a wrench in a couple of things, but I will get people on here. I promise. We're going to have some good guests. So stay tuned. We're going to have good shows. I promise. This is kind of like a return show tonight. We're back. We're opening up this awesome piece of mail from Big Gerald Sanders. This generous gift.
Yeah.
Which we really appreciate.
Yeah. But I still like that. Keep that package.
Oh, yes. This will go when I get packages like this. I do save the wrappers, and I have a collection of these. This is definitely going to go. I wouldn't mind framing them, but I just don't know where I'd hang all the framed pieces up is a problem right now. Maybe in this room eventually, but we're getting a pretty good setup with our podcast area. We've got the VCR over here for doing the VHS watch parties. We've got our video game controllers. We've got our dedicated table where all of this stuff like the mixer, the computer, the microphones, the microphone stands, the webcam, all of this stuff is just here and it stays in here, and we've been lucky with that, Uncle. You excited about it?
Yeah.
Not a bad setup, right?
The only time that would use this room, say, for example, if a guest comes, like someone in I can mention somebody in July is coming, my sister.
Oh, yeah. It is a guest room.
She's going to take my room. I'm giving my room up for her because she can't.
Oh, maybe you could sleep in here.
I was thinking either I will or Melanie will. It's one of the two because there's two rooms. I don't know where she wants to sleep.
Yeah, well, we do. That's the thing. We do tear down. It's a semi-dedicated podcast room, which is also another bedroom for guests. So when that happens, we do take the equipment back down. But it's not like we're not used to tearing down and setting back up again. That's what we used to do all the time.
Yeah, well, not like that.
So it's not a big deal.
Just for that many weeks, I don't know. But it's in July.
And maybe, Uncle, maybe tomorrow, because we've been liking to do our gaming or our VHS watch party streams on Saturday. So as long as we do have any extra time tomorrow, we'll do one of those streams. We'll either be gaming or VHS watch party, everybody.
And this watch party thing, I'm curious to see what's in this. Well, we've seen all these, no? Or did we see that one? What was the last one we seen?
Oh, the VHS. I got rid of all the ones that we did watch, so they're not there anymore. Those are all ones that we have not watched up on the shelf there. For the VHS watch party, we have Three Stooges tape. We have the Taibo tape. And I have a couple of old tapes that I made, actually, if we really get desperate.
On there?
Yeah, videos that I made, yes. Yeah. So if we get desperate, we'll watch those things. So that'll be for the VHS watch party.
If we do watch a video, I think we'll do a Stooge.
The Three Stooges.
Yeah, one of those.
I think that'd be a good way to go.
Yeah, start that because we already seen a Kung Fu operation here.
Yeah, the Taibo. Actually, the Tai Chi, that's still up on our YouTube channel if you want to watch that. Us watching the Tai Chi for Health video. That was a fun show.
That one was the last one I think we did.
I think so. That was our last VHS watch party, was the Tai Chi for Health one. That was I gotta say I'm proud of the material we put out, Uncle. I'm proud of these streams. I think they turn out great. We get very little engagement, but that's just because we're shadow banned for telling the truth to people. And
shadow banned?
We're shadow banned, Uncle.
Oh no.
The establishment doesn't want the truth getting out, and so we've been systematically shut down so that people are not allowed to follow us because we're going to give away the game, so to speak, and the powers that be don't want it that way. Okay?
Well, what are they going to do?
Shadow ban.
Stare at it all the time? I'd rather look at something than stare at it.
Well, I know. I agree. Be that as it may, I mean, they're shutting us down, Uncle. I mean, I don't like this. But here's creative accidents. Phase Shifter is saying Three Stooges rock. So there's a vote for the Three Stooges video. This is from...
Well, that's one of them, I guess.
That's from the Ocelli.com chat. But then also... hold on, let me pull it back up. Also in the Ocelli.com chat, Creative Accents is saying, where were the stamps canceled? Landers? And he also says he loves the Three Stooges. Oh, yeah.
Where was the stamps?
Let me see. LAB400R.
Where's that?
I don't know. That's the facility. LAB400R. August 2013. It's probably Santa Ana or something.
That might sound like Santa Ana.
It was that horrible facility that
Santa Ana sounds like
down in Orange County. I don't know. I'm not sure about that though. No Way to Lose with the Stooges is that.
Okay, it's the Stooges on tomorrow if we go on.
Yeah, if we do VHS, it's definitely the Three Stooges. If it's the gaming, we'll just play more Nintendo games. I'm really enjoying those. Oh, and also, Uncle, here's a little bit of tech talk, a little thing on the gaming streams. We had that glitch going where we played the games. There was like the frame rate was messed up or something. I know what it was actually, but the game was like all choppy and you didn't get. You remember that? It didn't look quite right on the stream.
What, when we get it fixed?
It doesn't do that anymore.
What happened?
I think the reason it was doing that is because I use OBS as the streaming software that we stream this. We stream all of our video streams. The way that I show the Nintendo games, any of those games, is through this window capture. And it was something about the window capture wasn't jiving with the software I play the games on.
Okay. But now I got a system. Since you just mentioned that, we'll use that system on the Windows for the games.
Yes.
And leave this where it's at for us talking. How's that sound?
There we go. Yeah. Yeah, I think.
I mean, that would eliminate the problem.
I think the problem was fixed when I got a new version of the game software. I think for some reason is more compatible with the window capture in OBS. I don't know why.
It sounded like that, It could be, sound like that.
I mean, the main point of it is that the games look great now. I'm excited about it because it was kind of a pain that they didn't look quite right before, but now they're beautiful. So I'm very excited.
Oh, so you were testing them?
We
had to be testing them.
Well, we did one of those gaming streams. Remember we were playing that Goonies video game?
Yeah, that Goonie one.
Yeah, we were playing that last. Yeah. We were playing a couple other games, too.
I mean, now it's trying to figure out how to get up on the top. Bang, 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 bang. I mean, it was getting hit down on the bottom. Boom, boom. I think they were very funny, those games. It's like being, to me, that feels like being a kid again. Playing these games.
Yeah.
Section of playing the games, but
yeah, I completely agree. It makes me feel that way. I used to play the same things when I was a kid, and it's fun. I'm glad you enjoy those streams too. Yeah. I don't know. There's so much potential for this show, Uncle. We just got to get beyond this shadow banning thing, and I think we'll be fine. That's it. We're doing the right thing. We just got to keep pushing forward, and we will be just fine. And I'm very pleased, as I said before, with the quality of the live streams and how they come out and just the fun of doing them. So we're winning on that front, Uncle. We're winning. And, how can you argue with that? Uncle, the kids are out there with the 3D printer right now.
I never worried about that problem. They show it during the day.
Printing?
Try to listen to it at night.
Your complaint about the 3D printer is it keeps you up at night.
Well, but this is what they're saying. This is what they're saying. This isn't making noise. Wait until the nighttime when I go to sleep.
Yeah, because we did have it printing overnight, and you said at that time you heard it from your room, and it was keeping you awake.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Not during the day, fine. You can put it on anytime you want. Mm-hmm. That doesn't bother me. Because that's when she went in my room to say, I'm not saying nothing. Your
my
wife.
wife. Yeah, my wife.
Talking about this. I didn't want to tell him. Just a minute. You're doing the wrong time. Do it now at night and go in there and see how you sound.
Yeah, we started printing like a few hours ago. My wife wanted to test whether or not she could hear it from your room, because from your room you're saying that you're on problems. You could hear it from there at night. So she went in there and she couldn't hear anything. And so the proof was that you can't hear anything.
At night, go in there. Not during the day. That's why I didn't tell her that. She was so tap. She was so tap about saying, this don't work, this ain't that. This happens at night. At night. and you'll hear it.
So it's an inaccurate test, is what you're saying.
Inaccurate test she's done.
She didn't. It was the wrong.
Long time.
Wrong time.
Long time to do it.
Completely different situation.
Do it now.
Do it now. Well, yeah, it's going to be night. Yeah.
And do it night as I'm
and you got to be trying to sleep in there too.
Sleep in there to try it and see how you feel.
Then you'll hear it.
Then you'll hear it.
It makes a little bit of noise.
Point I was trying to.
Whoa! We've got Sidewoman Kick in the YouTube chat here, and she's saying she just did it. By just did it, did you mean you just tested it? Were you laying in Uncle's bed trying to sleep?
Yeah.
And listen to the printer? And if so, could you hear it?
Yeah.
That's what we want to know.
That's what we want to know.
She says no noise, yap, yap, yap.
It will come, you wait.
So, I don't know. Sidewoman Kick is there in the chat right now, and she's saying she's redone the test, Uncle, and that her results hold up.
Well, let's see if it's on as long as it's been on the first night.
Yeah.
You'll definitely hear it.
So do you want to test it again yourself, Uncle? And do you want us to be printing something all night? You want me to do a big print tonight?
I would like her to sit in the bed and listen to that.
Well, that's what she's saying.
Night,
she did.
At night when you're going at night.
You mean not 8:30 at night now, but fully at night, like maybe midnight, 1 a.m. or something. Oh, okay.
That's what I meant.
That's the true test. Okay,
that's the true test.
All right. So I hope that makes a lot of sense there.
Nah, I couldn't just jumping up and down. She's complaining then on this and that. But that's my point.
Well, I mean, needless to say, noise or no noise, I gotta say the 3D printing's kind of cool and fun. It's been a fun thing to do with the kids.
Yeah, well, yes, it has.
Pretty cool.
It has.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
I know our friend Robin is a 3D printing enthusiast. He's nearing expert level with it, I want to say. He knows quite a bit and has done a lot of it.
I sure wish I could get him a call on the phone just for this one time, just to explain to him just what we got.
We may need to fire up the phone lines one of these days again, Uncle.
Just for his talk, just to hear what he would say about it.
We could say, because Robin always comes on via Skype. We'll say, Robin, if you ever want to come on via Skype, you can pop on in the Skype green room. You know where that is. And if you want to come on one night, just let Chuck know you're there, and we'll patch you on in. Yeah. So we can always do that.
Because I want to get this thing about this machine. And I want to get on this machine. But I want to know, could it be not tuned up high? If it's tuned down where it's been, low, at night, I wouldn't mind. But can you put it, just for the sake, down a little?
I'm surprised you can't hear it because it's upstairs and you're downstairs. Are you directly below it? Is it causing vibrations that you're hearing through the ceiling?
That might be it.
Is that it?
That might be it. Something I'm hearing. It's going through something. I can't put my fingers where, but when it was going hard, though, it sounds like that's not going hard right now, right? Pushing hard.
Well, I mean, it's
when
printing.
When it was pushing hard, that's when I heard it. When it's pushing now, it was okay. But pushing hard, for some reason,
I can hear it printing right now. I can hear it from in here. I hear it out because it's out in the main area there, the loft area upstairs. I can hear it. That's where it's set up. And we're here in a bedroom upstairs. I can hear it go wee, wee, making the little noises it makes. If I were sleeping in here, I think I would. Well, I know I would hear it because I can hear it now. I'm podcasting in here and I can hear it. So I'm sure I would hear it from in here. Well, I didn't hear it in my room, oddly enough, which doesn't seem much further away than this, but it's far enough that I didn't the other night that you're talking about.
I can hear you guys' feet. Come on now. Bouncing back and forth upstairs here?
Yeah.
Don't tell me I can't hear that downstairs.
I like to run around.
But I'm hearing the feet running around.
I love
I'm just saying
Mm-hmm.
that when you walk around, you put a big footsteps down, like boom.
This
boom,
is in the
boom,
day
like
you're
that.
talking about.
Yeah. That too.
Yeah.
I mean, boom, 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 pounding.
Yeah. It's a noisy house, Uncle. It's a
I
noisy
understand
place.
it is a noisy house, and a lot
Very
of
noisy.
people that I can understand have so many people in it.
That's what's nice about going out to Landers. You get out into the secluded wilderness and you get to relax a bit.
Yeah.
Right?
If only, well, you're putting renters out there now, but
Yeah.
I was going to say, like, you needed renters before. If somebody wanted to say to go out there for, let's say, the weekend.
Yeah. We'll be out there. I was there last night.
No, I meant.
Oh, for like a full weekend, you want to go?
Well, one time, a full weekend.
Yeah, we'll go. We will. We'll go. We'll keep doing fun stuff.
Because I still want to check that hill, that inside. Goat Mountain. I've been waiting to go in that mountain.
Yeah, I know.
If that was real true, bones in there, I would like to see.
There's mine shafts. Yeah, they're on it. Yeah, there's definitely mine shafts.
I want to see what's in there. I'm very curious about that place.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's cool. Yeah, we can definitely. There's a trail that you just park at the foot. You just walk up along it and go all the way to the top. So yeah, I've yet to do that myself. I feel kind of bad about that, but I want to do that.
I'm trying to want to do that.
You have to do that one of these days. Maybe make a video up from the top of Goat Mountain. Would be fun to do too.
Yeah.
See what the view's like up there. I bet it's pretty good. See a lot. You can see Big Gerald Sanders from up there. I know that much. No doubt about that.
I just don't know. Where was that map that showed Sanders and eating shrimp? That's what's bugging me.
Well, it was Google Maps, which I could try to look again. It's not there anymore, though. I know it wasn't there last time, and I'm tempted to kind of look at it now, but I'm sure that it's still gone, unfortunately. But it was, I mean, let's be honest, it appeared to be a hoax.
Well, that's what we all thought. But, yeah, we got a hat with a shrimp hat on. Come signing in with a shrimp hat. What is going on here? Pull me out of surprise of just doing this kind of stuff.
Yeah, just when you think it's a hoax, something like this happens, and it makes you wonder about it again. It's like, oh, geez, we thought we figured that out, and now I guess we haven't.
That's exactly my actual point. And
right back in where we started.
At this problem about the shrimp problem.
We're never going to escape it, it seems. What a shame. What a shame.
I'm not saying this is a very nice hat. Now, that's given. That I understand, but like the plate, I would like the plate of some of these things on my head.
Yeah. Oh, Uncle, the Joshua trees appear to be growing pretty well in the yard out in Landers. I did those ones I grew from seed. I planted a bunch of them out throughout the yard, and a few of them are definitely still alive. No doubt about it. Excited about that?
Well, they can take the heat, right?
Yes. Well, yeah. I mean, that's the
main thing.
That's their home climate. I got the seeds from the same property, so from the trees on the property.
Get the seed. Make more of the seeds. If you want to put more out there, fine.
Mm-hmm.
But put them in spots.
Yes.
I think it'd be the better.
That's what I did. I put them in various spots all throughout the property. It's a couple acre property. I put them all around. I've been watering them, and most of them appear to definitely still be alive. A couple of them, I can't tell if they're still up and going or not, but I'll know if the others keep growing and some of them don't. I'll be like, okay, well, these ones are dead. But right now it looks like, I want to say most of them are still alive from the looks of it. So that's exciting.
Now, they take the water from the sky.
Yes, it rained a lot.
Still about better if you pour them in the homes. So my point is, if they aren't supposed to get watered, or are they supposed to get watered? That's the problem I don't understand about these.
Okay. I see. Yes, you're saying it's a desert tree, so
Right.
it's supposed to not need
Much.
next to no water is what you're saying.
Right.
The thing is that these are seedlings, so they're young. So even though they are a very drought-tolerant species of plant, they belong out there where it barely rains at all. When they're young, it's good to give them extra water so that they grow, establish roots,
Right.
and get going.
That
and
is
then,
what I understand.
Then later you can kind of taper off the watering as it begins to mature and kind of leave it be and just let the natural rain mostly be all that they get, actually, eventually. I mean, if the trees that are naturally in the yard and old and mature now, they're doing fine with all the rain that we got this year. It's crazy amount of rain. We don't need to water those at all. No way.
Don't even touch them.
Oh,
Don't
fine.
even touch them because they've been rained.
Yeah.
And even the gardening you do out here
Mm-hmm.
with the food.
Mm-hmm. And if you follow at Uncle Podcast on Instagram, you will know that we have another Joshua tree that we grew from a seed 7 years ago, and that's in our yard here in Riverside. And you can see pictures of that at Uncle Podcast on Instagram. That one is much more mature than the ones that I have in the yard in Landers, but it's the same concept, Uncle. Growing Joshua trees from seed. It's fun.
I've been throwing some seeds around. I'm picking them too, but left them in a bucket for you that time.
Oh, that's another thing, Uncle. Creative Accents told me that he was growing some seeds, and he has somebody there in Houston who makes her own pots, and she has one of the seedlings growing still there, and she wants to come on the show as a guest.
Oh.
So I was talking to her. I was talking to email, but then, yeah, well, I'll get her on the show sometime. So
That's your department, getting the people on the show. So I kick after me. I'm letting them come, but.
So there's a future guest to look forward to when we're talking about Joshua tree seedlings.
I'm going to talk to somebody with seed trees.
We will.
About this because I know they got more to say about it.
Someone needs to answer for quite a few things, too.
Right. That's what I'm aiming for.
Phase Shifter in the chat is saying, this talk makes me want to visit Landers. Been through Death Valley before, and it was awesome. Yes, it is. I love Death Valley. That's up north. Still the Mojave Desert, but up north. Yeah, man, that's so cool up there, too. But, yeah, Landers, also awesome. Landers, not far from Joshua Tree National Park. Uncle, you haven't been to Death Valley, have you? We haven't taken you up there yet.
Really?
That's a different desert area. We've been there with the kids. We haven't taken you. We might have to all go sometime.
Don't think so.
It's cool.
I've been up in the mountains once.
Yes.
Where the rocks and the cross and all these other things.
Yes.
What were those places?
That was like Big Bear area.
Yeah, I've been to those. Yeah. You're right. I wasn't there.
San Bernardino Mountains. Yep.
Yeah, I wasn't there yet.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't there yet, no.
And then, and then Sequoia National Forest, I think you might be talking about, too. We went to Sequoia National Forest last year.
I went up there.
A lot of cool outdoor places to go around here.
I did like that going to that fish site, though.
Yeah.
Exciting.
Yeah. That was Sequoia National Forest, yeah.
Yeah, that we went there.
Mm-hmm.
We tried to go fishing.
Mm-hmm.
And the water actually was it actually felt like the ocean.
It was incredibly cold.
Cold. That's acceptable because
Very
of the time of the year. Yeah, I understand that.
Yeah.
But what I was talking about with the waves and the things in the ocean,
the Kern River,
it felt like
the current was so strong. There was so much snow melt coming through, and the current was so strong. The current of the river looked almost like large waves on the ocean.
And that's what.
It was crazy. That thing was.
It was very comfortable to sleep.
Yes,
I got to admit that was one place comfortable to sleep, and I didn't hear a grouch morning. If we had brought a 3D printer and ran it, you would not have heard it. You've only heard the. That's right. I wouldn't have heard it there. Put that out there. Let's see what happens.
We should just take the 3D printer outside when we go camping and print then.
Yeah. You can. That's okay. I won't do then. I wouldn't hear anything like that.
That's how we're going to solve our problems.
I'll solve the problem. Not in the house like so, but I just say.
Yeah, but Phase Shifter, let me know if you ever plan on head out Lander's Way. Absolutely, and we'll make something happen. You know that we can make it out there. Okay. That's our spot out there. So just keep us appraised on that one, and any help that we can offer with that, be happy.
I'm trying to look for some extra rocks too to decorate the front.
Oh, like from around Goat Mountain collecting rocks?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The colors. I want the colors of them, though.
Mm-hmm.
I'm picking some up here I've seen, but there are not many here that do up there. Up there, I got more. I can walk one spot and I pick up about 5 or 6 of them.
Yeah, there's lots of rocks to be had out there, and they're easy to pick up from. You go out into the wilderness a little bit, grab a couple rocks, bring them back home, throw them into the lawn. This is in Landers. We do this all the time. Just grab some rocks and use them as like little perimeter areas, like little planter areas and things like that. It's cool. It's fun to do that. So a lot of really cool rocks.
Marking them down as I find them here. Marking them down. Like Nana has them set blocks set like this around the front.
Yeah.
Well, I'm putting them in the spots.
There's a lot of quartz out there too. A lot of quartz out in Landers. It's that type of rock. There's quartz crystals, full-on quartz crystals, but then the quartz rock that's not completely crystallized is very pretty. It's that whitish kind of rock.
Oh yeah, I like that color.
Yeah,
I've been needing some more of those colors.
There's a ton of that stuff out there, which is cool.
But we have to do one day also go out there and pick some of those out.
Oh, 2 weeks ago, Uncle, on the trip that I took with my son and my wife, we went out all the way to it was like the tri-state area of Arizona, California, and Nevada. And out there on our way, we stopped through Amboy, California, which I was wanting to go to for a long time.
Oh, you did stop there?
That was cool. Yeah, that's like an abandoned sort of ghost town, but they actually have it open again. It's on Route 66.
Oh, I would like to see a ghost town.
It's just like Radiator Springs on that Cars movie, the Pixar movie. Radiator Springs is exactly like the town of Amboy. It's a desert and everything. It's on Route 66. It's got Roy's motel and cafe that they've partially restored there. And near there, just down the road from there, I want to go back because there's a spot that you can dig up trilobites. If you drive off the road a little bit, there's like some stones that you dig into, and you can dig up trilobites. I want to do that with the kids one of these days.
And you bring some of them like rocks?
Yeah, they're fossils. They're little fossilized weird creatures from the ocean.
You ever go and pick some up and put them in the truck?
Yes.
And then bring them some here. Because I could use them. So making a design for the front.
Yeah,
I'm trying to do making a design.
I mean, the guy, I got the map to out there from a guy that works at Hoopa Mountain Discovery Center. He wrote a book where he made all these maps to different like gem trails where you go collecting gems, mostly in the desert out here in California, but all around in California. He gives you these little maps like, here, go here for this rock, go here for this rock. And then out by Amboy, he has the map to go find trilobites. And he was telling us about it when we were at Hoopa Mountain Discovery Center. He's working in a museum. He's like, oh, yeah, you can dig these things up out in the desert. I'm like, really? Where? He's like, oh, here. I'm like, really? Oh, that's cool. He's like, yeah, I wrote a book. It's in the gift shop. So we got the book, and so now we're ready to go. We just got to go out there.
There you go. There's another activity scene to do.
Mm-hmm. So much to do. So much to do. Never enough time, but we will find time to do that kind of cool stuff. We'll get out there. As I said, I was happy just to make it out to Amboy 2 weeks ago, Uncle. It is pretty cool. I have to take you out there sometime, too. There's other interesting things, too, like Amboy craters out there. A lot of interesting stuff in the middle of nowhere, Uncle. Surprise.
I think where the desert is good about is things around when there's nothing around. There's good stuff down. It's true. I mean, actually, that's true because it's really happening, and it seems like that's the problem that we're seeing here.
Even when it's a mirage, like Big Gerald Sanders shrimp, it's still exciting and fun to be at.
Well, because you think it's there.
Yeah. Some things are a mirage, and then other things are quite real. I mean, the trilobite fossils, they're in there. You start digging the rocks, they're in those rocks.
Mm-hmm.
Roy's Motel and Cafe, that's there. It's the bungalows aren't open to rent, but they're still standing there. Yeah, it's actually pretty cool.
Oh man, if they were up there to rent, me and me the first ones to go for a visit.
Yeah, it would be cool to stay in those. Yeah,
I would stay in it for one night.
Again, taking it back to the cars thing, those little bungalow things, part of the motel, they remind me of that Cone Motel from that movie where the little cones, it's similar to that. So I don't know. Yeah, Amboy, check it out. Maybe I'll post some video on the YouTube of short little videos they got out there. I don't know. Oh, actually, they probably make good YouTube shorts, actually, Uncle. Maybe I should post a couple of those. Now they think about it. They love those shorts. Those short videos are what get the most views on YouTube.
Video.
Yeah, short videos. I'm sorry.
You mean
on our YouTube?
On a YouTube. Oh, yeah. I'm thinking about shorts. You said short video. Wait a minute.
Yeah,
not clothes.
The super short videos are the ones that tend to get the most views, or at least on our channel, Uncle. So maybe I'll post a couple from Amboy. Could be good.
Well, you throw something interesting, believe me, you'll get people listening or watching.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm on it. Now, whoever's on tonight or listening tonight, come on tomorrow.
Yes.
Go on my shows and try to see, if you do want to see a video, I will have the Three Stooges for you, since that was...
Yes, so our live stream or VHS watch party with Uncle, we should be doing that tomorrow, Saturday in the day sometime. So watch the live stream, our YouTube or Twitter or Twitch, and they'll be on all those. Phase Shifter's back in the chat at O'Chilly.com. He's saying you guys need to visit Bodie. It's a ghost town. I know about Bodie. I have been recommended that by other people. I've looked it up. I want to go to that. I wanted to go to a couple other interesting things up that way. We wanted to see the Crowley Lake columns, which were up near there, but we got weathered out. We were there in the winter, and there was snow on the ground, and I wanted to drive through it, but it was too much. It was too much snow.
Couldn't take it?
It was too much. It was too much.
Big truck.
I nearly did, but then I thought better of it, and I didn't. But there's those cool columns up there. Bodie, very cool. Another ghost town. Yeah, might have to make it up to that sometime. That's up there near Mammoth, up a little past Bishop, which is a little beyond Death Valley yet. If you go through Death Valley up north through Bishop, then you get up near that area where Bodie is. Very cool up there. That's a cool area too. Should do some camping up around Bishop. Actually, there's some really cool camping areas up there. Wouldn't mind trying that out sometime.
Well, we got the equipment for that.
We do.
Even got a toilet for.
Maybe we could make a trip where we go through Death Valley, maybe even stay in Furnace Creek for a night, and then drive from there to Bishop and go off-road. There's some off-road trails that you can take that you can just basically park somewhere and just set up a tent and camp out there, out on the like off-road trail network up there. That'd be a lot of fun. It's very pretty. There's lots of cool rocks and stuff up there. People go fishing up there too. You could wear your big Gerald Sanders hat, Uncle.
Well, I think I'm going to wear this when we camp. I just realized something.
Mm-hmm.
This is just word tonight, the show, people, but I'll wear it when we go camping.
Uncle, I'm thinking that hat's going to be a real conversation piece.
Yeah, but for right now, conversation in this house, be crazy to put this on a hat now. People go crazy. Where's that trim? Where's that trim? Like everybody's talking about in here. So I'm going to have this, put on my fishing equipment place.
Yeah.
That's where this going to go.
It's a perfect fishing hat. I mean, it's got shrimp all over it.
It's going to be exactly for that.
Oh, man.
Not really going to wear much of it in the house, but this just showing.
Yeah. It's definitely an outdoor hat. It's a sun hat. Great for the sun, Uncle. That.
Yeah.
Great hat for that.
I got a hat. Weird now, but.
Again, thank you, Big Gerald Sanders. This is a wonderful gift that will be used. I can guarantee it. I know Uncle's going to be wearing it. Yeah, that's man, what a design, Uncle. What a design. This is just
I just can't see Ken Sanders being a designer.
You can't see him being a clothing designer.
No.
No?
I see him being him in the shrimp house.
Oh, you're surprised how many talents Big Gerald Sanders has.
Wait. That's what I meant.
I get it. Yeah, we knew that he did shrimp, but we didn't know that he had shrimp apparel.
Yeah, apparel.
Genuine surprise.
Yeah.
Pleasant surprise.
Was.
Very pleasant. I mean, look at this thing.
I would like to get some of that design on my fishing tackle, if it didn't mind. If you didn't mind.
Yeah. I mean,
design for that.
Maybe we could 3D print a shrimp tackle box now that we have the 3D printer. What about that?
Oh yeah, we can do that.
Just got to deal with the sound at night is the problem. That's going to take a while to print up that whole thing.
Yeah. Well, that's something to do.
Yeah. Oh gosh, man. Ooh. Well, the good thing is we're getting toward the end of the show, Uncle, because I'm struggling to stay awake. Truth be told,
I can see that right now.
I don't like to admit it, but there's the truth.
I forgot you could have tested one beer, though.
Oh, God, that would have really put me to sleep.
But I didn't think it would be because I think you're falling asleep right now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the working hours?
That probably has something to do with it. But don't worry, by the time the VHS watch party rolls around tomorrow, I will be wide awake and ready to laugh at the Three Stooges.
Oh, Three Stooges.
How about that?
That is going to be pretty high, I think, this week.
I would imagine it gets a high rating.
It will. I'll be shocked if you give it a 10. Because you've been giving it a close 10.
I think the only way it would get a bad rating is if it's one of like the later Three Stooges where they get less and less funny and Curly has been dead for a decade or so, and it's just like, why are we still doing this? If it's a video of all of those, which I don't think it is, then it might not get a great rating. But if it's a classic Three Stooges, kind of undeniable, it's going to get a good rating.
It depends on what it looks like. We have to rate them like that just till we have to watch them to see stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So, like I said, you guys tonight, get up at whatever time, and we'll have it on. I don't know what the time we start this.
Yeah, we don't have – that's the problem. We don't have a
direct time on it.
We don't. We just kind of do it whenever it's convenient on a Saturday morning / afternoon. Of course, we're here on the Pacific time zone on the West Coast. So we could say one time, it'd be a different time for you depending on where the hell you are in the world. So time is nebulous in this strange environment we inhabit, Uncle. What is time?
Time is the problem. We can't put it on. So that's the meaning.
True.
That's the bottom line. I can understand.
I can see the essence of it, no doubt.
And this other guy popping up in the screen.
Oh, yeah. I've got all these graphics lined up. Some of them aren't any that I even need to use now, but I'm cycling through them anyway. This, for instance, why would we need to see that? We don't, but hey, I used it anyway because it's in the queue. How about this? Oh, this is somewhat relevant.
That's an interesting one.
Some rocks in Joshua Tree National Park and a blacklight poster with an alien on it.
Yeah, that one. That's the one I'm thinking of.
That makes all kinds of sense to what we're saying.
Yeah, that goes to the desert.
It does. Absolutely, it does.
It fits the desert, I should say.
And then there's our desert artwork as provided by Robin. Thank you once again, Robin, for using that. Coming in handy there. Yep. Uncle, I think that's going to do it for the show tonight. Is there any shout-outs that you want to give tonight?
Shout out to you all that's been listening, and nice to do.
I'm gonna give a shout out if I may. I'm gonna shout out to Gerald Sanders again. Thanks for the hat and this awesome art, which we'll save. Again, we're at Uncle Podcast, Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube.